Hey everybody, Jen here with the Sewing Report, and I have a bit of a personal update because if you have not heard, there is a hurricane and it is headed to where I live. So this is Hurricane Ian, and it is expected to be a Category 4 storm when it hits landfall in Florida, and that's where I live. That's where the Sewing Report is located. So I just wanted to kind of update you guys on what's happening here, what I'm planning to do during and after the storm, and how it might impact the next few weeks here on the channel. Now, earlier in the week, I'd been, over the weekend, I'd been just, working on the next few videos. And then I started seeing updates about how Hurricane Ian might head to the Tampa Bay area. Now, hurricanes are something that Floridians deal with, and that's just comes with living here. And in fact, I would still rather live here in Florida than where I'm from, which is Buffalo, New York. Because this is actually, I've lived here off and on since 2007, and this is my first time with a major storm where it's directly impacting me and my family. So I think the last time a hurricane directly hit this area was 1921. So it's been over 100 years, and I wasn't really freaked out about it earlier in the week, but was it yesterday when I went to bed, the storm was on track to sort of clip the Tampa Bay area and keep heading north. But then when I woke up this morning, the path had changed and Hurricane Ian had moved a bit southeast. My house was literally in the path of the hurricane. So my husband got home today. He put up our hurricane shutters. In fact, he's at Home Depot right now. But then 5 p.m. rolled around and then we got another update. And now my house is no longer in the direct path of the storm. The storm continued to move a bit more southeast. So now, as of this point, and again, everything is changing so quickly, but it looks like it's more going to hit around Fort Myers, and it will still come up near me, but not quite as directly. Now, it's still gonna be bad. Like, there's mandatory evacuations in my area. Shit's gonna get real. Let's be honest here. And there's going to be disruptions. We're not going to have power. That's pretty much a certainty, is that I can expect to not have electricity for anywhere from a few hours to several days. Obviously, we don't really know. Water might be disrupted as well. In fact, I was seeing some municipalities have started to encourage residents not to use as little water as possible. So that's going on. I'm probably not going to have internet. I don't know what I'm going to be doing because all of these like studio lights and equipment, I am charging up all of my batteries. So in fact, after I shoot this video, that's what I'm going to be doing, is I'm going to be making sure all of my, just the life of a YouTuber here, I probably have dozens and dozens of batteries for different things. In fact, some of the portable studio lights I use are battery operated. So I'm going to be charging all of those batteries so that we can use them for not if, but when we lose power. My area, even though we do have underground utilities, we lose power every time there's a light rain. Sometimes only for a few minutes, but that's probably gonna happen. So with a Category 4 hurricane hitting the area, I'm gonna assume we're gonna have some power loss here. I don't know how bad it'll be. I am safe right now. We've got hurricane shutters up. We are not in an evacuation zone. So I don't exactly know how this is going to play out. I am not going to be shipping any more Etsy orders this week. Mail service is certainly going to be probably not happening for the next few days. I just had a Kroger grocery delivery order canceled too. So there was not going to be a lot of, stuff happening here. Everything's canceled here. The airport's closed. Literally everything is closed. My husband's not going to be going to work the next couple days. I already work from home, so as long as there's power, I can still sort of do what I normally do. And, no flooding. I don't know what that's going to shake up like. We are a bit above sea level, so there is going to be storm surge. That's pretty much a given. But I'm far enough above sea level that I'm really hoping like my house doesn't get totally destroyed. I really don't know though. And also, if you're not aware, before I was doing this full time, I used to be a news producer. So I've covered, just from like a journalistic standpoint, I've covered a lot of storms before. But I'm going to be real, I'm 40 years old, and this is the first hurricane that's going to have a direct impact on the place where I currently live. We got a little bit of it about 10 years ago. There was a storm called Tropical Storm Debbie. That wasn't even a hurricane, but what made it so bad is that the storm was very slow moving, so it just continued to dump more and more rain on the area, and there was a lot of flooding in Tampa. If you guys all remember that, I don't remember, it was about 10 years ago, so it might have been 2012, but believe it or not, I actually lived on an island, like literally like an island at the time. Somehow my house experienced zero flooding. I literally don't know how that happened. So that was pretty crazy. But this time around, I'm not expecting to be so lucky. I have been staying updated on everything from press conferences to closures and everything else. And if you also live in Florida, I would highly encourage you to do that. If you are in an evacuation zone, you definitely need to take that seriously. I remember all of the video coming out from like Hurricane Katrina. That one was devastating. Hurricane Harvey in Houston. And it's just so insane to see these people on rooftops waiting to be rescued, people who didn't leave when they should have left. I don't know who that's calling me, but I'm not going to answer right now. But things are going to get real. And if you are in Florida and you live near the water, you're going to want to get out of there, because as emergency officials have been saying, you can't even get first responders out to some areas after these storms. So it's not always just the like direct storm impact that causes all the damage. Sometimes it's the aftermath. It's all of the flooding. It's all of the other craziness that happens after a hurricane. But this is part of living in Florida, and a lot of residents here are prepared for it. You know, we've got plenty of flashlights. We're getting our water together. We have lots of non-perishable food. I went and stocked up stuff for the rabbits. So we are going to be staying in our house and doing what's called sheltering in place. But I'm not really sure like what's going to happen. So I will try to keep everyone updated on, I do have Instagram, if you don't know, Sewing Report Instagram. And I'm starting to delve into YouTube Shorts, so I may be able to kind of post intermittently there. I'm gonna keep trying to do like what I normally do, which is sewing and shooting videos, as long as I have access to, power, and, our house is not underwater. So I don't exactly know what's gonna go down. It's supposed to be tomorrow. So I'm shooting this on Tuesday. So things are supposed to really go down Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So this is going to be pretty interesting, to say the least. I know it's a pretty, this is a serious storm. So I just want to, encourage everyone out there, if you are in Florida, stay safe. I've watched like a gazillion press conferences already today. I will say I'm really, really, really grateful to be out of the news business, because if I was doing that right now, I would be probably sleeping at the TV station if I was in Florida working as a TV producer. So I'm kind of grateful, although again, shout out to all the people who do that, because it is really, really, really challenging work. Although, weird story, I was kind of thinking back on all of the storm coverage over the years. I've covered a lot of different types of news events, and weather is like everybody's not, this is going to sound weird. TV stations love to cover weather. It's just what they love to do. And when I was kind of a new news producer back in 2006, I was working as a morning show producer in El Paso, Texas. And if you don't know much about El Paso, it hardly ever rains there. I believe it's sunny like 300 days out of the year. So they barely know what rain is. But what's bad about El Paso is that because they don't deal with rain a lot, or like they don't really experience flooding or anything like that normally, is that there's not a lot of drainage for water. So back in 2006, El Paso experienced what they called a 100-year flood. And I forgot exactly how much rain there was, but it was a massive amount for El Paso, Texas. I was working at this station called KFOX. It was, you know, the local Fox affiliate in El Paso, and the TV station flooded. Like, it was crazy. And I remember how miserable everybody was for months afterwards, because literally this is kind of, again, we're getting off on a tangent here, but the TV station, it was a former bank. So it actually had, like, I believe, like the photog area with all the camera gear that used to be the bank vault. So there was kind of like a spirally staircase led upstairs, and then there was like the sales offices and stuff like that. But the actual studios and the newsroom was down on the first floor. All of that just completely flooded in 2006. It was insane. So we had to work like in these makeshift workstations upstairs on the second floor for months. Like, we couldn't even use like the anchor desk or anything like that. They had like, I believe from what I remember, the news anchors were stationed in like the break room or something. So there was this sliding door with like vertical blinds or something. So that was like the backdrop for a while. And it was pretty insane to live through that. So it is pretty weird that the only like major flood I've experienced firsthand was in El Paso, Texas, and it was a 100-year flood. So I'm hoping Hurricane Ian is not like the storm of a lifetime or anything, because that would be horrible for everybody here. But that's what's happening. I just wanted to kind of, I guess, share this personal update, chat a little bit with you guys about what's going on. I'm gonna obviously try to do as much as I can, you know, as normal, but obviously I've got to, like, you know, worry about safety and everything. As much as I can, I will try to document it, as long as I can do it safely, and you know, and I actually have electricity. I'm going to be again, maybe with all the batteries, I should actually still be able to shoot with my cameras, because I do have some batteries for everything. I don't even know if we're going to have cell service. Literally no clue. It's going to be pretty nuts. But that's what's going on here in the Tampa Bay area in Florida. I hope everyone is staying safe, and I will try to update you guys when I'm able to. Anyways, I'm Jen with the Soin Report. I'll see you guys again in the next video. And remember, whatever you're doing, make it fun and make sure you're safe.